What have you noticed about Brisbane people compared to Melbourne, Darwin, all that?
So I think Brisbane, I've said this a couple times before.
Has
Brisbane,
Bogans from Ipswich?
No.
Have you heard the term Bogans?
Yes, I have.
You're from
Rednecks,
Ipswich.
basically. We're not controversial. We don't do anything.
Not
It's a
really.
Surges podcast. Welcome to the Surges podcast. We never know where we'll be. You never know who we're going to be here with. You never know what we're going to be talking about.
This is true.
What the heck Kieran's going to be wearing. You got a super.
His Captain America
We always know what you're going to wear.
Yeah, we know what I'm going to wear. I'll keep it simple.
Except
you
was
know.
it 2 weeks ago where you were wearing a singlet? I noticed that.
But my titty fell out. Did you
I
notice
didn't notice that. I only watched the clips you sent. But
Bro, I had my-
I saw you at the arm bent, like the shadow, and you actually did some AI lighting. That was good.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
The AI helped you out a lot.
I need AI.
Lost 10 pounds. It was good.
You know, I'm trying to look good.
It's
We look
smart.
good. We've got Erin Bollman here. Erin
yes.
Bollman. Am I saying it right?
Yes, Erin Bollman, yes.
Bowman.
You are new to Australia.
Well, actually, 2018 was the first time I came out for basketball.
For basketball?
Yeah, American import. And then I've been on and off kind of. Melbourne was the first place I went. And then I went back home for a little bit and came back to Melbourne. And and then
been
went to
all over the
Darwin
place.
and then Brisbane. And so I'm kind of new to Brisbane, but been here.
What have you noticed about Brisbane people compared to Melbourne, Darwin, all that?
So I think Brisbane, I've said this a couple times before.
Has
Brisbane,
Bogans from Ipswich?
No.
Have you heard the term Bogans?
Yes, I have.
You're from
Rednecks,
Ipswich.
basically.
Bro, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just checking the
You're not
temperature.
Bogan. You're
just,
fine.
just seeing how you're judging me.
Yeah, I just want to see how you're going to judge us. That's all I was
Not
doing.
at all.
Okay.
No judgment.
Okay, good. No judgment.
I think Brisbane's a good mix between what Darwin's like and Melbourne's like. So Darwin's a very small town.
Yes.
Everyone knows everybody
Because you're from Missouri, right?
from Missouri, and I appreciate that because you go to a grocery store, you know half the people there. In Melbourne, you've never seen a face twice.
Is Missouri as big as Brisbane? How big is it? Like,
Oh,
where you're from?
Missouri's
Or where you're from? Like,
my
is it-
hometown is so small, about 40,000 people in the city, or we wouldn't call it a city.
40,000.
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty big to me.
That sounded big. That sounds like Thuringow for those people from Townsville.
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's 40,000's Brisbane.
no, it's
Okay, no, it's
about-
small.
yeah,
It's
Brisbane's
small. But it's not
hundreds
like-
of
I was
thousands.
expecting like
Well,
800
Yeah, but
people. I thought
Emerald,
was
like I did
gonna
some
say-
work in like Emerald, and there's 3,000.
Yeah. Well,
know,
where I
so-
grew
yeah,
up,
okay.
actually grew up into high school, there was about 250 people in my whole K through 12, so high school.
That's okay.
That's so
So,
small.
yeah,
Yes.
my class was 35 people, so everyone knew each other's names. So I was really good at basketball because no one else knew how to play it. Like, I was so bad
There
at high
was
school.
nothing else to do.
Yeah, terrible. So I got looks just because there was nothing else around.
You take every shot.
Yeah, and like I lived on a gravel road. One guy used to drive a tractor to school. If you talk about Bogan, that's the most redneck
That's
thing.
Pretty.
I don't know if that's bogan. I think there's difference. I like that. I think the bogan
You
is where
like
you have
it?
a choice.
Bogan
Yeah.
just has a bad- yeah.
And you choose to drive the tractor to school. You know, when that's all you got, that's all you got. It's cool. You're a farm person.
hilarious.
But you know, if you live in Ipswich and you choose to drive, you know,
But that's just being farm person, right? Having a
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
having a
it
tractor
was-
is normal.
Yeah, very
I
farm.
like
Like we had guns. Big
Now we're
trucks, guys
talking.
with
Now
guns.
we're talking.
America,
Yeah.
we had guns.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, terrible. So sorry. Sounds American to me.
But we had a lot of guns. And not those little nice AR-12,
No.
14s
No,
or whatever.
it's freaking- it's
Semi-automatic.
supposed to take down a whole moose, kind of guns.
Yeah.
So, and they were on the back of kids' trucks,
Yeah.
16, 15-year-old trucks.
Are you nice with the guns?
No, I'm so scared.
Okay.
I'm actually afraid. My family's full of wanting guns all the time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Your
they
family's full of what?
well, they love guns.
They love guns.
They're
yeah.
huge.
No, so does my
Yeah.
family. That's all. I just
Yeah, so yeah.
love it.
They love it. They froth off it. But my dad has about like 12, 13 guns, shotguns, different kinds. And he made me shoot one once. And I shot it one time and I set it down. I was like, well, never going to do that again.
do
That
that
was so
anymore.
scary.
Whoa, that's
It
a
was
lot.
so loud. I don't think people understand how loud guns are until you actually shoot one.
And how powerful it is, like when you shoot it and the bullet, you know, when the bullet goes, you're like, yeah, it's a lot of force.
Yeah, like I
it's-
could turn. This is really bad, but I was actually thinking it. I could turn and just kill somebody right now.
yeah.
Just like turn. So that's why I set it down. I was like, nope,
That's
can't do it.
scary.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that at shooting ranges. You ever seen those videos?
Accidentally.
Yeah, they'll accidentally like joke around and they'll come jump on them and
Yeah.
and like
It was
yeah,
scary.
they're
seen a video
serious
like-
things.
I've seen a video like
Real
that.
serious there. Sorry. That's,
no, but
we
guns are
have
serious. Like
Guns and basketball. That's
guns,
what it is.
guns,
In
basketball,
Missouri.
tractors. There you go. That's the
title.
of the podcast. We got this covered.
That's funny. Yeah. So who do you play basketball against then? How do you even get good?
How do you get good?
How do you even get interested? There's 250 people in the school.
Well, there's not much else to do, I would say. So you had sports. There was no football, no track, no anything. There was only basketball, volleyball, baseball, softball.
So you trained all the time?
Yeah, so we had keys to the court, to the gym. That's what we call it, but to the courts, and I would go in there at 6 a.m, and we had other opportunities. So I had AAU as well that I would be a part of, and that was 45 minutes away from where I lived. So I'd have to drive to practice all the time, and that our nearest grocery store was 45 minutes away. So I get used to the far traveling to be in civilization.
Play against the boys?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. But I wasn't good. Like I tell people this is we expect so much from juniors at 14, 15, 16. And I was terrible back then at basketball. I didn't get good at basketball until I was probably 22.
Do you think that now,
That's
or
cool.
is that just?
Well,
is that
Is it
looking back?
perspective? Like,
Yeah.
were you actually good?
You
or
might have been killing
How do you know you weren't good?
I've
Well,
seen
tell
some
us why. We got video. This
Yeah,
is
I've seen some highlights that Erin has posted back in high school, and it was I couldn't use my right hand.
because
I'm left-handed.
I just want to point out that Atem remembers himself a lot better than he was.
Oh, as the greatest thing ever.
It really is.
So it's kind of, that's why I like how you're like,
Okay, I see
I got
that.
video.
Yeah,
So-
there's no proof. So
Yeah,
no one-
so you can say that. No,
I was
that
amazing.
I was terrible. I was left-hand dominated. I couldn't shoot threes. I made 1 3 my whole high school career.
Me too.
But
Couldn't use your right hand.
yeah, there was.
Same. Same.
Are you left-handed?
No,
I'm not
and
left-handed.
he couldn't
but,
use his right
but
hand.
I think I learned how to do a hook with the left from you first. So I just stuck with the left with like a lot of
Yeah.
things.
He said that you trained him growing up.
Yeah.
Is that,
We call it.
so that's
Call
why
it,
he's
we
so
call
amazing.
it. I don't know what we call it.
You better call it mentoring.
We have some key words
It's a little
helping.
guidance. It's a little guidance. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that helps. That helps.
It helps,
He always-
it helps.
I had a trainer as well. So.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to call himself a trainer. That's why I don't say that.
Oh, why not? Is that?
You said it diminishes your.
Oh, it diminishes.
Hey, diminish. I'm waiting for the whole story. What don't I call myself a trainer?
No, I'm just joking. I'm
Hey.
just joking.
We had a whole podcast on
We had to talking about
trainers.
it. And,
Okay.
and I brought a lot of negative.
Because you know how
connotation
you
to
know
it.
how a lot of people now talk about trainers and they have a trainer and you just do drills,
Absolutely. Yep.
and all those things. We just had this whole podcast about it, and Tim brought in one of his friends
Well-
as a trainer, and it was a good conversation. But
What do you? Yeah,
I don't know what I call I don't know.
a caddy.
Huh?
A caddy.
Caddy, yeah, helping people.
like that.
Caddy. Yeah, just
Walking
helping-
next to somebody.
Walking next to him and
Like
helping them.
golf.
Yeah, I'll call you a caddy. Yeah, that's cool.
Sweet.
I feel like
People
that's
don't-
diminishing of anything.
Is that
Yeah, it's
diminishing?
like,
Is that?
Carry my
carry
bags.
my bags. Carry my stuff.
That's
Set up my
exact-
tea. Tell me which one.
that was how it was meant to work out. You were meant to get rich. I was meant to
It was meant to happen
get
that way,
10%.
but
Yeah, be in the
God has
background.
His own plans.
Never worked out. Never worked out.
It's coming.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, what do you feel about trainers? Do you train people?
I am a personal
I
trainer.
wanted to get there eventually, but that's the one thing I noticed that you push out when I was doing my research. You're passionate about lending the information
Yeah.
through social, like media, videos, and obviously actually doing it. What's that been like?
Oh, I think it's my purpose because I feel like I do it a different way than most people. So the cone dribbling, cone drills, stuff like that you were just talking about, out the window. I don't like it. And it's been because I have experienced that. I've had, I would say, 50 different trainers, people wanting to train me as an individual.
I want to train you. Tell me.
Yeah.
I want to see if I
Caddy
can work
me,
it.
please.
Yeah, be the caddy.
I want to see.
Wear your badge.
I want to see if you come back. You'd be like,
That's a great
no.
first
Like,
session.
not-
That's
not
it.
him.
Like, wait, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time.
Yeah.
You should be paying me.
Should be paying. That's hilarious. And I guess I've seen over time what works, what doesn't work. And if you notice, all these cone dribbles, all those things, they don't actually translate anything to games. None of those kids that work on those things.
transference,
Yeah, there's no transfer. So that's my biggest thing.
So what do you do? How do you do it?
What do I do different? I can't tell you all my secrets, but
No, it'd be good because then I think that because this is part of our conversation. Like we have, you need to watch more of our episodes. I think. But,
I need to watch more of our episodes. I forgot.
but yeah, so we try and talk about how can you be effective, and there is transference, and that's one of our big themes is actually making a change and being different. So again, keep secrets, but what generally do you do like different so that you know?
Well, it's holistic,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So if you just train the skill, the individual skill, then you're not training the entirety of what basketball is. Emotions are important, mindset. So if you're in a training and I'm getting mad at you as a trainer, and I just posted something about this, if I'm getting mad at you as a trainer for making a mistake, for dribbling off your foot, or for doing something wrong that I've told you to do wrong, all that's doing is putting fear in that child's kind of head. When I mess up, I've done something wrong.
Gonna get yelled at.
Yeah, and you're going to get yelled at instead of empowering them that it's absolutely fine. You're going to mess up. You're always going to mess up. I mess up to this day. I'm 30 years old and mess up on the court. So how do I train that? How do I train them to continue going, to keep going forward in their move, even if they've dribbled it off, keep going. Cool. So that's why in trainings I do that, like emotional-based kind of training. So if you mess up, be like, yeah, it's okay, right back at it. You never quit. Never quit, just keep going. Or if they aren't trying, that's when I get onto them. It's like, hey, like that last rep was at 100%. No. Well, that's where I want to kind of change the game is you are going to have a training with me and it's not going to be you're dribbling through cones. You're going to be going one-on-one live, seeing when to use it between the legs versus just doing it between the legs on a cone.
Yep.
Because I went, that's what I'm saying is I went and did all these drills until I was 22 years old. And none of them transferred to a game. I still just stuck to my left hand, put my head down, and hopefully I got a layup. And then finally, I had a trainer who initiated that. And then I started researching basketball more and how can I start applying the things I know how to do that are in my bag in a game. And that's when I started applying, like one-on-ones, for instance. So when I go and play guys, it's like I'm going to try to do a spin move. I'm going to try it. As soon as they cut me off, I'm going to try it out. And I had to like purposely implement that into one-on-ones. And then I did one. And I was like, oh, shoot. I can do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this next game, I'm going to try it. When I have the opportunity, I'm going to try it. And I did it. And then it becomes second nature. So you have to apply. This is a lot. Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No, it's great. No.
You have to take what you're doing as a passion or whatever you're starting with. You have to do it until you don't get it wrong. And then you have to do it against defense. And then once you take that one-on-one and put it in a game, implement that, then it becomes your bag. Then it becomes something you do naturally that you don't even have to think about. But we're trying to do cone drills, and then all of a sudden they do it in a game, and you're not doing the actual steps to get it there. So that's like what I focus on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Is there a
Sorry, that was a big-winded
No, it's great.
answer.
Is there an adjustment period that you find for when they come in? Because it's a different way of teaching. I'm sure they're used to cones, and just drills as well. Is there an adjustment period for when you like introduce that?
Yeah, I have a kid that is mentally so messed when he got with me. He just, anytime he misses one layup, so first training, 5 minutes in, we were doing a drill. He missed the first layup. Head went down, completely ruined the whole training, like for him, mentally. So it has been probably 10 sessions later, and this kid, when he misses a layup, just will go get his rebound, put it back in. And that's stuff that...
You beat it out of him?
Well, it's like...
No, I'm joking.
No physical violence yet. It doesn't get there yet.
Wait till he's 15.
We were,
When
There's
it's legal,
There's
I
limits
guess.
on that. There's limits.
That's not, yeah. Well, it's just, you see it. It doesn't happen right away. You have to keep holding him to a standard. Every time he misses a layup, there's always a role. You have to, like, it doesn't quit. So when they're playing one-on-one, he misses it, they can get the rebound, put it back in. So if you see a lot of guys play one-on-one at 2 p.m., they're always one shot.
Yep.
So then in a game, what translates is they never chase the rebound. They never, they'll miss a layup, get all frustrated, and jog back on defense because when they play one-on-one with their buddy, they never go for rebounds. So you have to think of that when you're training kids.
Yeah, they're training their mentality. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So it's a process, I would say, over time process.
Yeah, it is. How did you respond how did that coach introduce that to you in the first place at 22 after all those years of how did he, compared to all the other trainers or coaches, introduce that
To me.
Yeah, like was it?
And how did you respond? Like, what was the transference?
Well, I was a cruddy kid. Like
What does that mean?
I was so I had a pretty poor upbringing, and not to go too deep into it, but my coping mechanism was to like become, I guess, about myself. And you see this a lot. You see a lot of selfish players, and I've learned to beat myself out of it. But you kind of, if no one's going to care about you, then I'm going to care about me. And I, at the time, and I say
love
this,
that.
yeah, at the time.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, really? Okay. So I cared about everything, about like stats and how I was doing. Everything was about me. If I didn't get enough points, my attitude was here.
Telling a Tim story.
What
just
else
so
is
you know.
there?
And then he's
What
just
else
like-
could there be?
He's just like, that
that's
sounds
dumb.
cruddy.
That sounds terrible. That's horrible.
And you get it, then I love it. You get it. Don't worry about it.
He lives it. He lives it. He does it. When you said that, you went internally, I thought you were going to say, my coping mechanism was fighting and stabbing people. And,
No.
Is that what you assimilate with
Is that
as well?
yeah, no, he's pretty much.
You're very, you talked about violence a lot.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yes. It's still
yeah.
just a narrative.
Well, I guess, and I've had this trainer. Actually, I've had this trainer since I was 14,
Okay.
and it didn't click until 8 years later.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I had some things happen in my life. My own choices have made my life kind of negative. There were some things, and I trained back with him because I didn't want to stop playing after college, and I went back with him, and he would have stern talks with me, just stern, when I'd quit. So I'd like miss a layup. Same exact thing with what I was talking about with the kid. I missed a layup. I would just like put my head down and I'd throw the ball and be all pissed off. And he would like, if you don't get better at this, if you don't work on your mindset, you're never going to play again. You're never going to get. And now I took that for granted. Like I took that straightforward of he's right.
Yeah.
Like I've had all these issues my whole career. It's not working that way.
Yeah.
That's not working, me getting mad or me making it about myself. That's not working. So for the past, I would say since 22 on, for the past 8 years, it's been a slow grind of unlearning this behavior that we learned as coping mechanisms and relearning ways to be, I don't know, like enough, like think we're enough and then give to others.
Keep moving and growing.
Yeah.
So, but what was cool is that you said that when you were ready, you had the same coach since 14, and then when you were ready, you came with that open mind kind of thing. And I think that's a big shift. You have to be ready and ready to receive it. I think that's
and you go through enough suffering, I think, sometimes. You're like, well, I am so tired.
I'm done with this,
Like, life is suffering. It's supposed to be suffering. You're supposed to, like, I think a lot of people misunderstand how life's supposed to go. It's like it's only supposed to be happy and great. So when it's not great, everyone has depressive episodes, me included, or you have times where we're super anxious. Like, it's not supposed to go great. It's actually, when it's not going great, you're learning. So we almost want to invite times when we're like having poor times or learning.
Can't I just live in my delusion and say
Yeah.
life's great all the time? I don't,
Well, I mean, you can't-
I don't
yeah.
understand the issue.
Well,
It's the wrong person to tell that to.
Yeah,
Let me
sorry.
just live in my delusion.
Well,
Life is great.
how do you react when things go wrong? Because you might be really good at this. You might already understand this.
Yeah, how do I react when things go wrong? It's a really good question. Not sure. Depends on what goes wrong, I guess. In basketball, I don't know, have a conversation with whatever went wrong, or call a timeout and talk about whatever needs to be talked about. Like pretty.
Put on a Marvel shirt.
Sit like this.
Do this in front of the mirror. Do this in front of.
Hope the editing works.
That was a joke, but that would be a great tactic to go look in the mirror.
It actually would.
It
No,
is
that's a real
scientific.
thing.
It's
no, I think,
it is.
I think I've put a lot of practice into when things go wrong, being able to be aware of my emotions and be able to, control that so that it becomes a learning moment rather than anything else. So,
And that's it.
yeah.
Like, you just figured it out.
Yeah.
Your delusion, you call it, is actually the way that most people should think.
Yeah.
I wasn't coming to attack you.
That was really nice. See?
Nice
See,
things.
the way I coach is a nice way to coach.
Get out of here, man.
I don't like his coaching.
Oh, I hated it with a passion because you have to really
Work.
Yeah,
get
you
better.
gotta really work. I'm finding this with learning other things. I want to come back to basketball, but just learning something new is so stressful. It's so freaking. It just takes so much out of you when you're trying to actually learn it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just follow the steps of something, right? Like on YouTube, follow the steps.
Yeah.
You can
You're
get
not
to the end of it.
learning,
You
you're
didn't.
just
I actually
performing,
didn't
yeah.
learn. You didn't learn anything. So doing it the hard way is the proper way, but it's just it's like, man, I don't want to
having
do
someone-
this. I don't want to do it. It's like,
It's
yeah,
hard.
and having someone telling you, hey, this is the right way to do it. You should do it that way, or trying to
There's a
help.
couple of options.
It's like, come on, man, leave me alone. Just tell me what to do. That's why I think I used to want it that way. Hey, just tell
I
me.
don't want to figure it out.
Tell me. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
Yes.
Okay.
Did read that one.
So do you remember at the end? I'm like telling the story
Oh
right now.
yeah. You put
So
me on the spot too.
he goes.
He goes on a journey to find
to find this treasure.
treasure. Yep.
And at the very end, he goes I guess he goes to this church. The person at the church tells him, "Go over here. The treasure's this way." So he goes over. He gets to the top of this mountain, and he gets to see the pyramids of Egypt. And he's looking there, and all of a sudden, these people early in the book that were mean people. We'll call them bogans. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll call them
Ipswichians.
Ipswichians. Let's get
there
that.
we go. Knives and
I'm not judging,
Love
but
Ipswich. I love Ipswich.
I want you to put
Hey.
your...
yeah.
I'm always right with.
Well, he goes, right? And they beat him up.
Yeah.
And the guy's basically like, you're an idiot for continuing to try to find this treasure. And he basically says, some dude in my past has told me it's by this tree, and I didn't believe him. And then the guy who is narrating the book was like, and then I figured out where the treasure was. And the treasure was back at the church at this tree because this bad bully just beat him up and told him, basically.
Yeah.
So he goes back to the church, and the first thing he asks the dude, he's like, why did you make me go there if the treasure was right here this whole time? And the dude responds like, weren't the pyramids really great? It's like, all this hard stuff.
Tim, weren't the pyramids really great? Think about your whole life.
It's like, it's a journey. It's not
Why
about
did you do
this.
that?
It's this. That's the point. It's the beauty of this and the things you get to experience and see.
That was amazing, actually.
I got
can't
chills
even hate.
on
I wanted to really
my
hate on
own
the
words. I got
Yo,
chills. Do you get that? So that's why.
So
That is
like-
hilarious.
Okay, so
That's funny.
you haven't told her anything, have you?
About-
what we do.
Nah,
go to
can you? Yeah, I don't know what you like. Can you?
It's the
explain?
same thing. Like so I guess what we do is exactly what you're talking about, which is cool. Or we try to do it the way you're doing it. Is like, like have people come to realizations about themselves which assist them in a greater way rather than just basketball. So using basketball as a mechanism to sort of get people to see things that they want to achieve and then find ways to achieve those things, but really it's not about basketball. It's about learning in life and seeing themselves and identifying the, I guess, barriers and obstacles in their way and being given choices that they can make and helping them through it and supporting them. And then
Absolutely. I love that.
go see weren't the pyramids great?
See the pyramids.
Go
Weren't
see-
they great? That
weren't
is
those
hilarious.
pyramids great?
Oh,
Think about your last
that
10
was a
years.
Are
great.
you okay?
That was a great. No, that took me for a spin. That took me for a spin because
Why? Why did it take
Why
you for a
did-
spin?
yeah.
shit. What the hell?
Express
Just
yourself.
that shit just ruined my day.
I didn't
No,
mean to
not
ruin it.
ruined because, man, the pyramids have been they were great, but it's like I'm annoyed at myself for worrying about the little things,
Not realizing they were pyramids.
not realizing they were right there.
And
Yeah.
you saw
You know.
you saw the pyramids and you walked through all of
Yeah.
that and you never.
But I wanted some treasure. I wanted like something
wanted just-
tangible.
Yeah.
I
Why-
think that's what I wanted.
Why didn't
something
you just tell me where
tangible.
the treasure was?
That's it. I would have just went there, got it, and left without
it.
all the extra.
Never
Yeah.
seen the
But you didn't
pyramids.
live. You didn't get to live.
Didn't get to
The
live it,
journey.
Tim.
Back to you guys. Sorry. no,
Sorry, I talk really deep a lot. So if
I
you
was
want to
gonna
talk about
ask
other
us.
things,
Now
we
the
can.
question wasn't because I was gonna ask, did basketball help with all the internal processing? Now that question seems too minuscule.
No, it does. It really does.
Well, but does basketball help?
How
Did
did
basketball help?
how did your journey
Yeah.
reflect the journey that you're talking about in The Alchemist
Mm.
in terms of taking you to see the pyramids and then the treasure's great, but what the pyramid's amazing.
Well, oh man, that is such a good question. Okay, so I have recently, I just got done with Northside basketball for NBA One. I broke my hand in the last game. I had to sit out for 2.5 months because of my broken hand.
Where'd you play, sorry?
Northside?
Wizards?
Yeah, Wizards,
Okay,
yep.
Yeah, with Nadine was there as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, with
The
that.
Dean coaches here.
Oh, coach. Okay. Yeah. And it was with that team. And I spent a year, I think my year before that, so that was like September that happened, going through the motions and feeling sorry for myself and not liking my situations, not even just in basketball. And I had a year of like not liking my life. And I didn't even just sit and realize, dude, I'm living my dream. I'm getting to play basketball every day.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I
Not
wasn't
in Missouri.
Dude, from Missouri, yeah. There's people to this day that will message me and say, I can't believe you made it, right? And I don't feel like that. When you make it, sometimes you don't.
Well, you have an
just-
image of like, when you're living it, I haven't made anything. This is
Yeah.
actually just my life. What are you talking about?
Exactly. I'm just going day to day, trying
yeah.
to make things, and where to other people who are still living in Missouri that are like, man, you're living in Australia. This is crazy, and I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself for my life. And so I guess my biggest lesson since September, because I went and got therapy, I went and got help. Like I went and just have had the last 7 months? Was that 7 months since August?
Sure.
Let's call it 7 of just fixing and figuring what has been going
So
on
that's
with
what you've
me
been focused on.
is myself again.
That's
Yikes.
awesome.
Yeah.
How good.
Well, it's changed my life.
No, in a positive way. Obviously, before your cope mechanism was to withdraw and just
Yeah.
focus on yourself to protect yourself.
Disassociate.
But now it's like exploring who you are, who you want to
Yeah.
be, and
Oh, and
Appreciate it.
and why I've mentioned this is because I look back on the year and I was like so upset that I broke my hand, and I had been injured before, and I was so upset of like these little things that I could have done differently. I was so upset, and one of the biggest things, and it's huge, is forgiving yourself, and all that had to happen for me to go through this 7-month journey of being by myself, loving myself, learning how to be more present for other people, to like change these little things that I didn't like about myself, and actually like loving myself for some things too, and getting help. And I've connected way better with people that I love, and it's like if all that bad stuff didn't happen, if I didn't have a year of feeling bad for myself, man, then I wouldn't be here. I would have just continued that. So that's why
takes a lot of
yes, it
courage to look at
helps.
yourself, though. It takes a lot of courage to actually spend time with yourself and not find distractions to, keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
So, you hurt your hand, you're frustrated, you're all these things. There's a whole bunch of options ahead of you.
Yeah.
And to actually stop, look at yourself and go, okay, what's going on? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be? All those kind of things is, really challenging, I think. So that's pretty cool.
And I think most people don't do that. And then we have these, people that are at 40, 50, just hating their lives.
28.
Are you 28?
No.
Okay.
He's a hater.
Well, I didn't see what he was.
You're 28.
I'm turning 28.
You're like blushing.
I'm turning to
As everyone's talking, you're like blushing, going, damn it, look at myself. Okay,
Damn, I
mental-
gotta
What am I
start
doing with
looking
my
at
life?
myself.
mental myself.
God,
look at
I just want a
myself. I might just
distraction.
distract
Just
myself
want
for the next
distractions.
18 years or so.
You know, why not? Why not?
Well, I think the hardest thing is forgiving yourself.
That is.
Forgiving
That is the
yourself.
hardest. And then I think people don't do that, so they blame everybody else for their problems. I don't want to even admit that it might have been my fault. So, and that's all I've been doing. It's like, yeah, that's probably my fault. Oh, man, why'd I say that?
Such a privilege
Sounds
talking to
disgusting.
someone who's
tell
gone through
yourself.
that process.
Just keeps looking at you.
Did you find anything, a new interest, like outside of basketball, a new hobby?
that 7 months?
During this time?
because when you're at home, you can't play basketball.
Or were you just yourself? Were you the new interest?
Oh,
Cool.
that's good.
That'd be
That's
cool.
really
if
good.
you-
really
That's good.
That's
No,
good.
it wasn't. No.
No, actually, I didn't.
Still
I
can't
found
stand
myself
myself.
very boring.
No way. I would say I have spent for the first time like 7 months alone. Like I connect with friends and family and stuff like that, but I literally sit down on my bed and just for the first time I sat down for an hour. Like, have you done that before? Where you just sat down, didn't look at your phone, didn't do anything, and just sat there with yourself for an hour.
Nah, I lie down. And
Go to
like,
sleep.
Sleep.
Then I'm gonna go to sleep.
Then I wake up like oh damn.
Yeah, it's been 3 hours.
Is that the same thing? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But
You're there.
I have times where I go sit outside.
The library.
And
Museum.
the library's
Yeah.
not for me. Library's not for
Museum.
me.
You've done those things.
And those
haven't
are
gone,
the
yeah,
things
but-
I never did. Like I needed connection. And I could get in a huge talk about validation. I don't know if you ever want to talk
I
about
just found that through women and like girls,
Validation. What
through
does
other
validation
people's
mean?
relationships.
Dude, I think it's an epidemic. Validation is an epidemic, and that's the issue.
Oh, you need validation? The need for
Well,
validation? Is that
I
what you
think
mean?
the world. I think everyone needs validation, but they don't. You need to validate yourself.
Yeah, okay.
But with social media, with basketball,
Yeah.
basketball is a huge validator.
Yeah, it's
And if
massive.
you've met men in basketball, no offense to men and women, I mean women. I
Just
think,
stick with that line, men in basketball.
yeah, let's go with men. In the nicest way, at a young age, going through whatever, like you guys go through different things in women. Basketball does instant gratifications or validations of
Yeah.
I feel good, I feel good, I feel good.
Hit a shot, you're great. Miss a shot, you're bad.
You're
yeah.
terrible. Yes, and that's why these guys and girls have emotional roller coasters. Especially like I had that. It's like when I made shots, man, because my life at the time when I was young was going not so great. That when I was doing great, man, I felt like on top of the
feel
world.
great, yeah.
But when I wasn't making shots, everything in my life was going wrong. My home life, this, and I would only have coaches be like, "Why are you so frustrated?" I was like, I don't know. I'm a child. I don't know. But now that I'm 30 and looking back, it's like, oh, I know. I know why I was so frustrated. But like validation.
I think just on
go
that
ahead.
point, I
Yeah.
think it's really important that you're saying that like as a child, you can see yourself as a child because an adult's like, why are you so frustrated? Like, which is a legitimate question.
Yeah.
But your answer, I don't know, is really, really important because
Truth.
you're sitting there going, I don't know. And I don't know where to find it. I don't know why I'm frustrated. I don't know how I ended up here. And then you're like, oh, when I was 30, I started to, be able to either verbalize it or explore it. Whereas parents, coaches, adults, like when they want to try and help kids, are like, oh, don't be frustrated, just do this. And the kid sort of doesn't really know what's going on. So I think that's a real
Absolutely.
challenge to, if you are working with children, like how to help them through processes.
And
and
how, like,
support
if
them.
you had, I'll ask you a question. If you had a way, what would you think be the top way of helping a child whose brain isn't as developed understand that?
Relationships and connection
Yeah.
And sarcasm.
and sarcasm. As much sarcasm as
You gotta use a
possible.
lot of sarcasm. You brought it back the other day. I loved it. You brought it for one moment the other week,
Everyone
last
was
week.
so tense.
I
Everyone was so
loved it,
tense. You gotta break through the tense. Well, 'cause kids put a lot of pressure on themselves,
Yes.
and they think that because they are stressed, they're trying to do the right thing, and it's not working. And then just being able to break that straight away with sarcasm or mocking or whatever in the right group. Like I don't think
Yeah,
it'll
that's
work
what he's-
everywhere,
yeah, that's
but
what he's
the right
saying, yeah,
group, then that snaps. Now they're open to the next instruction.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we use that.
Sometimes. I
Sometimes.
just
Now and
wanted to-
again. But I think the best way, I think there's lots of techniques, but just patience, consideration, offering choice, providing rationale for things so the kids have things to latch onto. It's just not autocratic, you've got to do this. It's like, well, hey, look, there's a couple options here, but, this is why I think this is the best. But if you got something better, let's go with it.
So some autonomy to
Yeah,
what
as
they're
much
doing,
autonomy as possible, I think, and developing an environment that supports autonomy would probably
Yeah.
be the best way to help them through those things. I think helping them, and then also with developing an autonomy supportive environment, like teaching them how to make choices and make their own choices and to own their choices, because choosing is a skill. Like, how do we choose? And I think that now choice isn't really given. You just do whatever you want. You
Yeah.
think you're choosing, but you're just like jumping from one thing to the other. There's no, oh, okay, I really want this or I really want that or this is why I'm doing something. You just get it's a distraction.
Yeah.
And soldier's choice, I guess is the best way to put it. So, I think teaching kids how to make choices and, I guess treating them in that they're, enough or that they're worthy to do whatever they want just because they are who they are.
Yeah.
So that unconditional, it's unconditional
Safe
love,
space.
but safe space, whatever the correct words are, unconditional positive regard, like there's a whole bunch of ways to say it. But what it is that kid knows they can come, or anyone knows they can come to a space and they can do whatever they feel with respect to everybody, and they're welcome to do that. I think creating a space like that allows emotional, social, and physical development. So, and then when you have that, then you can take risks.
Yep.
Because you're not going to take risks and develop and be creative if you don't feel safe. And so, yeah, that would be my answer.
That's a great answer. Wow. Should we clap?
Yeah, I need some fake claps here somewhere. It's gonna be one of them.
It's got to be one of them.
Gonna be one of them.
But yeah.
That does that make sense? That makes sense.
That
That makes sense to you?
A little bit.
Not really.
a little bit.
Not really.
Did
No,
you
I
sound
think the being welcoming, always being welcoming, makes sense.
Yeah.
In like the long term, just knowing, hey, you could come to me at any time,
And people do that. So, like what we've tried to develop here at St. James is, in terms of program, is doesn't matter what's happened, you can just always turn up and you'll always be welcomed. You can always join in. It's an open training. Anyone can, if you want to get better, you want to be a baller, then you can turn up. But there are conditions. You have to be open and welcoming, and we don't put people down, and we're not negative and all those kind of things. And that's sometimes hard because people get in those habits. But yeah, that's what we have attempted to create. So I think that's cool. I mean, people still rock up, 10 years later or whatever, and
still want to be a
just
part
walk
of that.
walk through the front door, and
yeah, it's still a hi, what's up, how's it going?
everyone introduces them, and they're part of it straight away, and that's how it should. That's how we think it should be. So, but it's very different to traditional basketball where you got a team. We don't really run like that. So
It's just an open training for anybody to join.
anyone can join. You
like
could join. You could come train with the TAM.
Feel safe.
You'd feel safe. Everyone has to.
I'll stop that spin move, but anyway. No worries.
Dude, I have a counter. You know I have a counter.
I want to see the counter. See you come across. You know it's going. Jump. Step through.
I look stupid.
You fall in the crowd. Everyone teases you. Totally safe space.
Men in basketball,
We'll
we're
cut
not,
it
we're
into
not
this
very.
podcast right after this.
Yeah, I'm deleting all this.
Thanks for your time, Erin. See you later.
That was great. Yeah.
I have one personal last kind of question. Now that you can look into yourself, you have the ability to do that, and it's cool. Can you do that and also accept someone into your life who wants to be part of your life? Like, I know when I really focus on myself, I not push people, but just put barriers there and like, hey, I'm on me right now.
Yeah.
You could be there, but leave me alone.
Wow. Okay. I would say that's not.
Firstly, that's a crazy question.
Yeah.
Like a really good question.
Because I'm experiencing these things.
No.
And she's been explaining my whole life recently. It's been really frustrating.
And so I wanted to throw it out there because you might have another answer for me. Thank you.
Okay. I think you view that what you're doing of that is unhealthy when I think that's very healthy, because you're not letting. So when I was at a low self-confident place, anything comes in because you have no boundaries or standards. So I would view that more as you just have a very high standard for who gets to enter your life. So when you start focusing on bettering yourself and doing these things for yourself, now granted, if you completely cut people off, then you're not allowing to see who they are as people and then assessing. But you, absolutely in my past, I feel like I haven't even done any job interviews for the people in my life.
Yeah.
I haven't even, I've been they walk in the door, they're like, hey, I'm here for the job of being your friend, your partner, whatever. I'm like, you're hired. And they're like, but you don't want to see my credentials? I'm like, nah. And also when you do mess up and you're a terrible person, I'm going to blame it on myself and it's going to be my fault, not your fault, instead of assessing and criteria based. And this is what I work with my therapist a lot. So I think what you're doing is healthy if it's not completely cutting anyone from entering your life, but more assessing first, hey, and that's what I would rather be alone. And I have never said this in my 30 years of life. And now I get to say it because I've worked on myself enough. I would rather be alone than let anybody come in that's not worth my time. That's here for vindictive reasons. That's here for their benefit, to take my energy, not to give me more.
Yeah.
So that's like, don't worry so much is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You might be doing a healthy thing for yourself.
You give yourself space. You give yourself space.
Yeah, because I didn't
Yeah.
mean that with new people. I just mean
Current relationship.
Any
current
people.
too, fast.
Who are
Like-
they?
Me. Bro, I haven't
Bro,
heard
I don't
from
need
you
to
in
talk.
6 weeks. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's on you. You didn't
hilarious.
contact me, Karen. I think that's how that conversation
Yeah.
went.
Well, you
That's
all,
funny.
and I think connection is huge as well. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to, and I've noticed that I've always let people come to me if they want to hang out.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I also have to, like the people, and write it down. I don't know if you have a notebook. Do you have a notebook?
I got a journal.
Love it. It's like, that's top tier. So write down who you want to give energy to, and then make sure you text them each week. Make sure you're
I ain't doing
calling
all
them.
that. I'm not texting
Yeah,
everyone.
but-
I'm not texting
but you
anyone every
should.
week.
You
I'm
should.
not, that's where the line.
it's-
That's
it's-
where I draw the line.
connection.
I'm not calling.
just-
No.
Well, do you ever say I care about you to someone?
Tim.
Yeah, I've said
Okay.
that before. Have I said? I've said I care about you. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
said that before.
How
Have
many
I said
times
that? I've
this
said
week?
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This week? This week?
Wow.
How many times are you saying that in a week?
You need, well,
How many times you say that in a week?
In a
a
month?
lot.
Wait, if it's in the book,
Nah,
you
it has to be
like
genuine.
all my
No.
friends, I
But
tell I love you too.
No, I'll show it.
Yes, love that.
You like that? You show it. You gotta show
Hey,
it.
it's the same thing.
Yeah, I
Hey.
care about you. I'm here.
I turned up, didn't I? That's enough.
That's all I need. Yeah.
But I truly think
Maybe
that's
you should
wrong.
try. Maybe you should try saying it.
saying
hey,
it.
hey,
I wonder
try
if
it.
that, wonder,
Should I ask them
won-
if they need that?
No. I would wonder if it's for you. It's not for them.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would change how you feel by just saying it regularly. Like, it may be someone who's safe to say it to, and just see how you feel about saying it.
I love that. And
Imagine me coming on a Friday night telling yo, I care about you, bro.
No, but you do, because you
Come
like
on.
you give it on 5. You go around talking to people.
Yeah, you say hi. That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
by you want to show genuine.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like someone who's not one of the guys you're playing basketball
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
But like you might say, just get used to the words. Say it to
Yeah.
your mum. Say it to your niece and nephew. Say it to whoever you feel like, hey, you guys are, love you guys or whatever. They're family. Right? Just to see what that feels like.
did say that to my nephew 2 days ago.
See,
But there
that's
was
sweet.
there was a little like
there's
quick
something,
hesitation.
there's something
was it
there.
like- was it
that's
like,
juicing
I love
out.
you.
Get out of my face.
You got cameras at the crib, bro. Nah, there was a quick hesitation before I said it, and later on I just thought like, damn, why?
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like just getting used to it and realizing that
should
like
be
whatever
normal.
whatever. Well, yeah. Why not? Why isn't it normal? Why don't we just say yeah, love you, whatever?
And you don't have to tell us. That's something you can write in your notebook. Like, why is it hard for me to tell people
You
I
don't
care
have to
about?
tell.
Yeah, I'm never
You don't,
telling
you don't,
anyone
you don't,
about
you don't have to
that.
Hey,
tell
you can tell
Erin
us.
I'm
Yeah,
not-
you have to
because
tell
I'm
them.
going to
No.
ask you next week.
If you like, just try it. I would say trying is great, and then try to find out why you struggle with it.
Yeah.
Because I know that if someone tells me I care about you, it just feels incredible, and I want to do that. Like I want to tell people.
You want to make someone feel
Yeah.
good.
Well, the people I care about, not just anybody. Not anybody gets to hear that.
Yeah,
from me.
true, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the people that I want to put time into because I think it's very selfish to think only people put time into me. Like
Yeah.
I have to also put time into these relationships for them
But
to
you
work.
don't have unlimited amount of resources,
Yeah.
so you can't put into everybody. So if you know, okay, these are my top 5.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like literally, you might have to write that down because
That's what makes sense now.
Yeah, write down those 5.
Yes. With intention of.
so I
being-
expect.
Yeah, that
hey,
makes sense.
I care about you.
That makes
You're not
sense.
gonna get any.
Later on
That
today.
makes sense.
I know.
I'm not
I'm
starting
in the,
today.
I
I
know
must
I'm
have
in the
been
top
number
5. I know I'm in the top 5.
I'll start tomorrow.
I'm
You
gonna
know when you
message
start
later.
tomorrow.
I care about you.
Start tomorrow.
How you feeling, Tim?
Yeah. And you have a strong heart.
God.
It's like your energy is you have a strong heart, but you
Told you.
it has to be a soft, strong heart.
And you know what? The other thing is this: is that I think that you start possibly like with they're here. You know what I mean? You put your hand out and you start keep them here.
Mm-hmm.
You're either here or they're all the way in. You can let people a little closer, little closer. Now, how close am I still holding my own space and energy? I don't have to keep my arm's length. I can let them in pretty close, but I still have that tiny little
Still something for
for
yourself.
yourself. And I think that that's when people get lost to somebody, totally lost in that person. That's when because then you forget who you are and everything you're doing is to, connect and all that stuff with that person. And then you lose yourself. And then when they're gone, you actually, and you hear people say it all the time, like, I don't know who I am. I'm lost. I've basically forgotten who they are because they've given everything to another person. And that's unhealthy as well because you've forgotten who you are and you've devalued yourself because you don't see yourself as valuable. So
That's back to validation, man. Like once you let someone that close, they are just validating you. They are your worth.
and they are your validation,
Yeah.
And so if you can just keep that little bit of space, like what I'm saying is this is easier than
full on.
like this, but this, even when someone's that close to you, you don't have to, you still have that little bit of space where you might consciously, do something for yourself, every day just to remember who you are. And I think that's where people get confused.
Yeah.
Is they're the absolutes. Keep everyone away, because I got hurt because I gave my all to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's one or the other. Whereas you can actually just let people pretty close.
And we struggle to even believe that's our fault. Like I gave my all to somebody is our fault.
Yeah, no,
and
exactly
that's okay.
right. Yeah,
that's okay. That's our
well,
fault.
why didn't you give me your all? And how didn't that work? I gave my all to someone. I gave them everything. How didn't that work? And it doesn't
That
work
never
because
works.
the only way to find it is to always have that little. You got to. I don't know. I like the idea of you're you, I'm me, and we're choosing to walk together.
Yeah.
On this journey. And we have all these moments and all these things. You know what I mean? And we're really, really close. And we fight and all this, but, it doesn't really affect us because none of that's important. We're just choosing to walk together.
Absolutely.
And at any time you can choose not to walk with each other, and that's cool too.
And it will hurt and it'll sting,
Yep.
but it's not losing yourself.
You don't lose yourself because I still have to go on anyway.
Yeah.
So by definition, you still have to go on. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think that, as I said, you can have both, but you've just got to be a little bit aware and a little bit focused on keeping something for yourself whilst letting people into your world. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the...
And my therapist, I'll just pass it on so you don't have to pay for one.
Thank you.
It's been great. We are going to rewatch this.
I hope she's not watching. The inner circle stuff is huge. So what he talked about, moving someone slowly in, it's almost like your T-shirt. I was just looking at it. I was like, that's exactly it. Is people earn their right
what it
into
means?
that's what it should mean. I guess we'll start that off. Is someone starts at, she would use the word as a gas station attendant. That's where they start. That's where everybody starts. And then you choose who you move in. So what moves in is acquaintance. So then you see them a couple times, remember their name. They have now become your acquaintance. And then they move closer into close friend or to friend. Let's say friend. And then they show you some loyalty. They show that they want to show up. They message you a couple times when you didn't expect it. Then you move into close friends. And until they're tested and you really figure out if they're worth your inner circle, that's where 4 people standing.
I want to ask. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to love at first sight. That's a whole nother podcast.
Love at first sight. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. We got
I think
it.
it's, that's superficial.
I believe in it.
I just
What
thought
are
it
you
was
talking
funny.
about?
I thought that's a whole
It's
argument.
negating exactly what
I believe in love. If you guys don't, that's your choice.
At first sight?
At first sight. Look, I choose
love
to
what you
believe.
say, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just I
Are you
know.
a huge believer in love at first sight?
Like love at first, how there's a whole thing about love at first sight, and
Yeah.
it's like just instant connection and all those things, and that's a whole nother conversation about energy and love and all these things. And
It's real.
I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying it doesn't negate anything that. Erin
That,
was saying.
yeah. No,
You know what I
doesn't-
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you love at first sight, right? Like you meet someone, instant connection, just vibe in the same way, same, wavelengths, whatever, vibrations, whatever you want to say. There's 1,000 ways to say it, right? You just connected. I don't know what they say, some sort of soul thing. What's that called?
Soulmate?
Soulmate. And there's another one that like twin.
Your rib.
Yeah, whatever. Like, someone said that to you. That's cool. Anyway, something like that. And I think that, like that feels great. Oh, you found the answer. Oh, I felt so lonely being myself, and now you're the answer. You know what I mean? And that's really awesome in terms of how it feels in that moment, and you can get lost in it and caught in it, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's not. We don't live in Romeo and Juliet times. You know what I mean? Like you, at some point, you now have to still deal with life and do all these other
your own
things,
things,
and you've forgotten. You focus so much on the joy and the pleasure of that, what that person brings you, and what you imagine they're bringing you, because you just have to keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Stop overlooking little things. So it's almost becomes unreal. And then when it ends, you're torn to shreds because that was my only shot. There's all that narrative around that. I think. But again, like love at first sight, have great vibes, all those things. You're just vibing with someone like, this is awesome. But you're just like, cool, let's just enjoy this.
Yep.
Like you don't
These
go down
moments,
in
yeah.
2 years' time. You're
This
the
is
one.
my husband. This
I
is my
found
life.
it. I
Yeah.
found the one. Like
Yeah.
I can't think of the right words, but you know what I mean. Like I found the one. I found whatever it is. All my problems are solved.
Yeah.
And that's how people see it. Instead of that, you just go, no, you're like, this is amazing. I'm going to enjoy this today. Could just be today, you know?
Well, I think Halsey said it. You know Halsey?
The singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know her.
She was on a podcast, and she said that spark feeling is false. That should be your indication to run away, because someone should make you feel comfortable and not
See,
spark.
I like that. I think the spark would be cool.
Well, I think it's a way. It's
False.
a desire.
False
Yeah.
is the right word, but like,
Have you felt
It's-
that before with someone?
Oh yeah, and I've gone down the path that you just talked about, and it turns into muck because you didn't even assess who this person was, or like at first they might be really great because they look good. It's like, well, what if they're a crap person on the
they're
inside?
bad, yeah.
Or you like your vibe, but they're also, I don't know, they also have a girlfriend.
there's a whole bunch of issues. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I'm scared to ask you any more questions, so I will not, because you've described a lot of things I've
but we might get
felt.
you back on if you're okay
Please.
with it.
Oh yeah,
Please.
this has been so fun. Thank you for
It's
inviting
been-
me.
well, I think there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
So
There's so
Like
much more to
the
say.
love at first sight thing is really.
I think
yeah.
that'd be a cool conversation, like in terms of how you do both. Like how that turns into,
Oh, man.
if you had the spark. But let's leave that for another conversation and the coaching. I want to
Yeah.
talk
yeah.
more
Be a
about
bit
that.
more deep in that.
Do it.
So I just podcast. God bless. Thank you.